And right there's that radiation area I was telling you about, so that's not good.
This video is brought to you in part by TruTech Tools, quality tools, essential support.
What's going on, guys? So today we were working on this little chiller here. It's for a medical machine, imaging machine of some sort. Doesn't really matter what it's for, because I mean basically what it is, it gets the water cold and cools the machine. And down below there they have a city water backup, so that if this machine malfunctions like it did, it will switch right over to the city water and shut this one down. Now, how you keep that from accidentally mixing and diluting the water is beyond me, because we just came up here and we were looking at the potency of this little burger, which we ain't that low. I mean, you can see our lines here and we're that low right there. You can see here, right there's the float. So I guess that is where it probably triggered it. Ha! So there it goes. So that is what's going on. And there it went back out again. So we're gonna have to get some more glycol, but I just checked it and it came in at like 22 degrees. So you can see right there, we're just below 20 degrees. What I use a little Reichert glycol fracnometer. The glycol is a little low. We need a little bit more, and I'm hoping, maybe I just now seen this. Let's take a look. Is it? Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, I don't think it is, because got some growth down there and that, so that's not it. And we thought it was a refrigerant leak, which would have been really bad. Beans, this uses refrigerant R513A, which is a mix of 134A and 1234XYZ, WXZQRD, whatever. That's what's going on right now. So we're gonna have to find some glycol. All right, so I had to check the install sales guide, whatever you want to call it. This was all provided to us. I'm looking for places this might be leaking at. It looks like we've got ball valves here on the two bleeders, which is good. Nothing could be leaking out through that. They got caps on our boiler drains there, which is a good thing there. We literally didn't provide any of this equipment. We got temperature sensors down here. And then, like I said, you already seen that one float. It's got a regular coil in here as far as the condenser. I don't think we had a refrigerant issue. They said something about refrigerant issue. And my concern right now is, where did the glycol go and where do I get some to keep it going, and why didn't they just maybe wire this thing or pipe this thing to run off of city water? So this is the glycol lines coming down that comes to these solenoids here. And when things go wrong, it basically runs the water down into the drain. They said they haven't seen no pink stuff down there and there. So obviously you got backflow preventer here. Comes up, comes in, city water in, check valve, flow restrictor to the machine right here. So it's gonna come through to the machine, out, over, and up. We could have a leak anywhere in here to the machine, and all this is crimp stuff. And this is to the chiller, from the chiller. So here's your two chiller lines. So yeah, these two here go to the roof. And that's a bypass right there. So this loops them back up again. This is coming back from the machine, which obviously is probably going to drain out. So we know that's there. Up, down, yep. And this here's going to open. This is going to open when it goes to city and drain it out. So if anything, I mean, you could stop this from happening and make them do a manual turn. That would be nice, but unfortunately this machine runs hot all the time. I found that out. Low liquid level. Yeah, somebody didn't understand. They thought refrigerant level. Oh, everything I got is right here. This is pretty cool. So you go to your settings, you can see that's that. Back out, get down to your input. So here's your input output to enter. Here's your supply temperatures. See that right there? Compressor high pressure switch is open. Liquid level switch is also not happy. High temp, 70. Log 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can go through here, and it says 23 of them. I was able to hold that button and that button and got into here. And we deleted the alarm logs now. So we go to alarm logs, hit down, one of one. We got rid of all the other crap. Now we have a fresh start. 12, 10, 24. I don't know what that, maybe it's 5 hours that's been going on. Alarm 29. So now we can start over. Yep, so now we gotta look around. So we're looking all down in here. I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, this pump here, I don't see anything. We got a little coil here. So yeah. You can see that wall over there. Okay, we pretty much just put the raw glycol in there. As you can see, it's circulating there now because that there was clear before, if I remember correctly, obviously, to the machine, coming back from the machine. So it's definitely got the glycol in there. I went ahead and just went pure, almost used the whole 5 gallons. Turned the power off, back on again. It did its thing. I went ahead and cleared the alarms, no logs, everything's gone out of there. What we ended up finding out when the company started this thing up, the lady in charge of the center here said that one of their guys said, hey, you're losing glycol down the drain. So whatever the case was when they were doing the startup, they probably lost a good portion of the glycol then, and it may have just evaporated that last bit, and that was enough to trip it out. Right now, it's running. I'm gonna go back up there and check and see how much protection we got. And I've looked, this goes above the ceiling here, goes into that room there, across this ceiling to this wall, down over to the machine. So yeah, that's the machine it is. That's the power supply for it. Then you got a barred unit over here, which you can see daylight. Barred unit with an actual economizer on it, which is kind of crazy. And then they control everything over here, where all the technicians that control the machine do their job. But everything I'm seeing here sounds like it's back to normal. So you can see what kind of, your EEV is running at 38%, which tells me that most likely the refrigerant level is probably fine. We'll go up there and we'll look at it. That's probably discharge 154, because this stuff runs about the same pressure as 134A. 44 on the other. It has a head pressure control valve on it. Yeah, and that stupid thing is still making all kinds of noise. If you change the bypass, we're just gonna leave it where it's at. It just makes a hellacious freaking rattle, and we're running about 6 gallons per minute. It's just the vibrations going through it because it's restricting flow. Everything's back to normal. Nothing's going down the drain. All I know is I didn't see any leaking. Above this is all white insulation type wrap around the pipe. And if it was leaking, it would have went all over the place. I ended up using my funnel there, ran it in the side there. Got everything to the level. Appears everything's running like it should. Got 2 pumps here. Definitely couldn't be good and backed up. Sight glass looks full. Receiver's warm, not hot. Discharge is hot. So this has got a ECM motor on it. You can see it running there. It's just moving just enough. So between the ECM motor slowing down, keeping the head pressure up, and the pressure control device, which we got right here. Here's your, basically like a holdback valve, open on rise, and then this one here's your open differential. So it takes hot gas, it dumps it right into the receiver. So when you don't have when you have a bigger system, you can't use those little head pressure control valves. So you got to have individuals. This is what we got on like grocery stores and stuff. Sight glass still full, and pumps are running. Let's see what our potency is on this thing. And see, you can vent. See how that hole right there? So evaporation can happen. Obviously not that much, I wouldn't think. Well, I'm glad I put all of it in troughed and didn't take any out. Unfortunately, as you can see, I don't have much left. We're gonna need to put more in it because it's only 15 degrees right now. I ended up going even out of one of the spigots because I wanted to make sure it was fully mixed together. As you can tell in the way the sun's changed, this has been going on for a while. So I waited for somebody to show up with some more glycol, and it was diluted. So that wasn't doing me a whole lot of good. Had to go pick up some. This is polypropylene, but it's not as powerful as the stuff I had. So I got two 5-gallon drums of this. This crap's made here in Ohio. It sounds a little more wimpier on the other wimpy side of things. So then we're gonna have to dump that in there once we get about 5 gallons out. But I did talk to, there's a technician here that works on the machine, and he did tell me that the machine down there has its own little heat exchanger, so it has its own closed loop. So this goes to that heat exchanger, and so they got 2 loops going on. You got this one doing its thing, and you got that machine doing its thing. And he said he was having multiple different errors, and that's why he was out here. And then we'll dump in 5 gallons, see where we come in at. If we can hit 30, 31%, that should put us in the spot we need. The problem you run into is if you go too high in your protection, your efficiency of heat absorption is lost. Heat transfer is lost, and you don't have as good of heat transfer. I'll tell you what, we're gonna stop there so we don't have to worry about tripping, because if this trips, trip and dump the water. But even he said, this machine, when it's running, they lose about $250,000 a day when this isn't running. 250 grand. That machine's like 4 million, he said. And so this is a drop in the bucket. It's one way to look at it, drop in the bucket. So we're gonna see where our protection is on this. I gotta grab my meter and see where we're at. This only comes in at 49%. 49% is all it comes in at. I wanted 30% on my Dalfrost 1. This stuff here is not as potent. That's why I got 2 of them. What I end up doing is punching a hole for an air breather there. That made it pour out really easy. So just holding that thing like underneath your arm and just pouring it in. That went pretty quick. And we're doing that on the outgoing side of the pump. So now we can go ahead, and now that it's been mixing for a bit, we'll recheck, see what we got here. That right there is about 28%. They got a 50-gallon drum down there. I'm gonna take this downstairs, pour it in the 50-gallon drum. This is better than nothing. So if this thing blows off, which he said happens all the time in January, they can always dump something in there, get it going again, and then at least get it going until we can get back up to put it in at a higher proof. You know, go from there. But yeah, literally going up down this ladder, and right there's that 50-gallon drum right there. And right there's that radiation area I was telling you about, so that's not good. All right, got our dump down there. We'll go ahead and do the same thing again. Hopefully that should put us at our level and we can go home. It's been a very long, unproductive day because of stupid stuff like this, but it is what it is. You gotta do what you gotta do. Oh, I guess right there we go, 35%. That's what they want, so yeah, good deal. I'm about ready to take off, and the guy starts having problems with his side of the water loop. And then all of a sudden mine starts having problems. No good reason. I never even got to check my thing here to see what my potency is. It tries to dump it down the drain. So I gotta stop it so that it don't pour everything down the drain. And yeah, it's going great. We're about 31%. We're good. So as long as we don't lose everything down the drain, we're fine. But unfortunately, we're having an issue now with the stupid valves down there. The pumps, even though we got 4.5 to 6 gallons per minute, it's not happy about it. I don't know if we got an air issue. Comes over here, that return path, comes in, and that's actual pressure sensor there. Comes down through that pump. So they're both pulling it. They're both pushing out. This one pushes over to there, and the other one also pushes. Well, there's the heat exchanger. So where the heck's that at? What a mess. What a flipping mess. I'm loving it. So I just reset it. It says pump 1, low pressure, prime pump, whatever, and then it just took a crap. Okay, it's pumping. So we got a little bit of air out of there a second ago. You shouldn't do that because that can cause some issues. Go ahead and shut that back down. Now, according to that, it says backup pump 2 failed. Do we have a problem? So basically hit the alarm thing, low pressure on pump 1. Backup pump active. Primary and backup pumps faulted. Review alarm history. Pump 2, low pressure. That's one pump right there. So, okay, so what we've got going on now is one pump's let's start that over again. So let's see if this one starts first. This must be the primary pump. This must be the backup pump. And the backup pump doesn't get happy either, and then it says screw it, everything's screwed up. No, there she goes. Oh, now she took a dump. So let's race it again, see what happens here. Okay, that one pulled in. That's one of the pumps. It's pumping. I can hear it pumping. You can tell it's pumping because we got a little bleedage action going on over here. So it wouldn't have pressure like that, being it's above everything, if it wasn't pumping. So it's pumping. It's got some sort of flow issue it ain't happy about, whether it's got its own flow deal or what. So it just gave up and switched to the other one. And it says, yeah, same crap, dude. It's not working with it either. And then it takes fault. Okay, you can see it's running. That one right there is pumping. I can hear it and see it. This one's gonna fail out, and then this one's gonna start. And it should go this direction. See, it's going the right direction here. See, it just changed. That one's running now. Something's plugged up somewhere. There's a screen, something. When it stops here, we'll look and see if it's going the right direction. Yep, it's going the right direction. I mean, he was starting to leak water down in his machine, and all of a sudden everything goes to crap on mine. All right, guys, so we've just been through hell and back with the factory. So to say the least, we decided we're gonna keep this thing in line, this here slightly open. We restricted our flow here. What we had problems with is they wanted to keep it at 60 PSI, which is what we had originally from the factory, supposedly. This down here will actually tell you what it's running at. So if you look at it, we're running 60 degrees, 55 pounds of pressure. Our set point, here's your set point versus actual, 60 to 60.1. That's what it's running at. So we lowered it down to 20, but they were all worried about this. So what we ended up doing, we ended up restricting our outgoing. The actual valve here, no matter where I ran this thing at, I had issues. He only wants 4 gallons per minute, which we're looking at this high dollar machine over here, and this thing is actually showing exactly 4 gallons per minute. So if you come over to the machine, which he just shut down, yeah, we don't have our spec sheet up here, but we was able to actually see what the 4 gallons per minute was, and that's all he wanted. Anything more than that, we were gonna get possible condensation on his machine, which is gonna cause us some issues. So what I end up doing is notating all of this here, where things are at. Keep it open, you know, to the chiller, keep it open. That ball valve here, keep it at and adjust it to 59 PSI area. And then same thing here, just slightly open here. It really was that simple. Here's our temperature. I thought that was pressure originally, but that's actually 60. So we're good there. I've been through hell and back on this thing. I've been here all freaking day. This is so crazy, but now I'm the expert on this stupid thing. We're gonna put her back together and we're gonna get out of here. I got at least an hour and a quarter, hour and a half drive back. I don't have the fancy lock mechanism for it, so we just turn that like that and turn that like that, and we're good to go. I put on here, keep it at an angle as best you can read it. But you know, there were some settings in here. I got pretty efficient on how all this stuff worked. What was happening was it was set for 40 PSI to trip out at. And we were getting down to 35 or 25 PSI, somewhere in that ballpark. And I did not screw with anything up here in this section. However, I did tinker a little bit with that bypass part, but this here was always open. I have no idea why it did what it did, but all I know is that when it hit 40 PSI, it would dump everything down the drain, which is stupid. So as long as they don't screw with this stuff, and I told a couple different head honchos, don't screw with nothing, we'll be fine. And you can see now, you know, we're running 48 here and we're running 59 here. For whatever reason, the factory and the guy that actually is here with me, he is the actual technician for this machine. He knows the machine. We got all that taken care of. As far as where his water came from that he had inside of it, have no clue, had nothing to do with me as far as I can tell. It's all testing out fine and working fine, but we're gonna wrap this thing up, guys. Let's go up there and grab my stuff and get the heck out of here. Yeah, we gotta tighten all this back up. But yeah, the control down there and everything literally told me what the fan speed was and all that. Those are yellow. This is sealed up. Everything I needed to see is right here on this control, which is kind of cool. It's basically a doubled up display. So you can see it's just a 55 pounds, which is what we had before. This thing was made over in Illinois. I told the guys what my channel name was and stuff, so maybe they'll see it. We went through a million tests and I sent a crap ton of pictures over to them. And so we got this back. We got that all locked back up as far as the ball valve's closed. And then we just got to put on the screws and stuff. We'll get that real quick. You can see what time it is. About 7 o'clock. This kind of crap's been happening an awful lot lately. You really wonder sometimes why do you stick with things? You know, they said we could turn it back to city water. I wanted to wrap it up and be done with it. This is one of the things that just went on forever and ever. Couldn't get a hold of the factory right away. They had to go through a bunch of documents to see what was going on. Had to call me back. Just a lot going on, and never worked on this thing in my life. But once again, it's just, that's kind of how we roll here. We pretty much work on shit nobody's ever seen before. But now I know, but unfortunately I may not see it for another 6 months. Who knows? It's time to go home. It'll be about 8:05, 8:30, something like that, and then we'll go to bed and come back again and do it all over again. 29 and a half years, going on 30 years. It's this is the lifestyle of the HVAC technician. Definitely is not for everyone, but it is starting to get old. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you smack the like button, subscribe. You know, if you appreciate this stuff, I need subscriptions. I need people viewing. The best thing you guys can do, like, watch the whole thing through. The longer you watch it, the more YouTube recommends it to other people. Till next time, catch you guys on the next one. Later.